It's me again, Odette. I tried to record this video last time all in one go, and when I look back at the footage, this bit about park tickets was a bit so back to the drawing board, and here we go again. We're going to be talking about park tickets today and all the different places you can go. Some of the places I'm going to talk about I haven't actually been to myself, but I've done most of the like mainstream stuff in Florida, so all of the Disney parks, Universal, water parks, Busch Gardens, things like that I've done. There's just a few bits that I haven't. So let's go through and start talking about a few of the things that you can do when you're in Florida. Let's just take this off. Okay, I guess let's start with where to buy your tickets. So I said in one of my previous videos, when you go to places like Virgin and Thomas Cook, they will sell you park tickets along with your holiday package. They're normally more expensive. You're better off going to somewhere like American Attractions, which is where we normally buy our tickets from. They do, I think they're called Orlando Kombi packages, so you kind of get a big group of Disney parks sort of all into one ticket, which is a great way to save money. If you try and buy them all separately, they do work out more expensive, which you'll notice if you go onto these websites. They'll have the Kombi with a price for this year and the following year, and they'll also have prices for just the separate parks, so just Disney parks, with prices for this year and next year, and then prices for Universal this year and next year. So you can kind of work out how much more it will be if you buy everything separately than together. I've actually been trying to find out at the moment if buying Disney tickets when you get to Florida is cheaper than buying them online. It's not really easy to work out. When I go on the Disney website, they direct you to an English version, so you get everything in pounds rather than in dollars. And I had seen some prices in dollars before on the website, and I can't seem to find them now. It seems to have recognised that I'm from the UK and not from America, so it keeps giving me pounds rather than dollars, which is a bit of a pain. And I keep trying to ask people if it's cheaper when you get there just to buy sort of like a 3 or 5 day ticket. They generally do a 1 day, a 3 day and a 5 day ticket for Disney, and then you can go sort of 7, 14, 21 I think it is day tickets. The people that I asked, they've all seemed to come back and say this is the price if you're a Florida resident, which obviously I'm not, so I can't get those prices, and no one seems to be able to send me direct information as to how much it is just to go into the park 1 day and buy sort of a 3 day ticket when you get there. It's quite hard online to find less than 7 days. Quite a lot of the time you'll get 14 day passes for the price of 7 days, which seems really good, but they seem to always say that. So I'm not sure that there's ever a 14 day price ticket that's more expensive than 7 days. Normally we buy ours as a Kombi because we're going to all the parks, not just Disney. American Attractions are really good with their Kombi tickets. They seem to be the best price compared to all these other websites that I've looked at. There's a Kombi where you can get pretty much everything included, so you get all the Disney parks, you can do the water parks, like Disney water parks with that as well, and you get both Universal parks, unlimited access and unlimited access to Disney. You get Busch Gardens in Tampa, unlimited access there as well, but obviously that's like an hour's drive from the main area where Disney and Universal are, so you might not want to be going backwards and forwards to Tampa. We tend to just do 1 day. We find that's sort of enough time to spend at Busch Gardens. The Kombi ticket also has SeaWorld in it. That is a sister company with Busch Gardens, and so is Discovery Cove. The one that we've had doesn't normally include Discovery Cove. That's a little bit more expensive, but it's more of kind of a water park day, I guess. You get to go and swim with the stingrays and the fish and everything like that, and for an additional cost you can go and swim with the dolphins as well. In these Kombi tickets you will also normally get included Wet and Wild, which is a water park that's part of Universal. It doesn't have the same feel as like Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach, which are Disney water parks. They're definitely a lot better to go to than Wet and Wild. I've only been to Wet and Wild once, and I probably wouldn't go back there again if I'm going to do water parks. I'd rather do Typhoon Lagoon and Blizzard Beach. Choosing out of the two of them is quite difficult. They're both really good water parks. When you're looking at booking like Disney tickets, you want to see what kind of parks you want to go and do before you pick how many days you want to do in the parks. There's 4 different Disney parks and 2 water parks. So you want to look at those maps and look at the rides that they've got there to decide whether you want to do all 4 Disney parks and both water parks. When we went the first time, I think we did all of them, but there was only about 3 different parks then. And then the second time we went, we did all 4 parks. And the third time I went, we only did 2 parks. Yeah, we did 2 parks, and then this time we did all 4 and the 2 water parks as well. When I go to Disney, I can't go without going to the Magic Kingdom. So that was one that we've always done. The second one we've always done is Epcot. My mum absolutely loves Epcot, and since I've got older I've realised it's one of my favourite parks as well. There's also Hollywood Studios is one of my other favourite parks. We've only been there twice, so the first time we went and the second time we went, and it's got one of my favourite rides there, Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster. The other park that they've got obviously is Animal Kingdom. We've only been there twice now. This time was better than the first time we went, but I don't know whether I'd go back again. There's not a lot of rides there. I was going to say there's not a lot to do. There is a lot to do. It's more sort of walking around and experiencing the different kind of places that they've set up. So there's Africa and Asia, and then you go around, there's like a dinosaur land. They've got probably 5 main attractions maybe. It's more of a leisurely day for the kids kind of thing, whereas I'd say Hollywood Studios is probably getting there for the bigger kids. There's like a good mix there, and then the other 2 are more for like little kids, leisurely day kind of things. Obviously no day in Florida is going to be a leisurely day. It's full on, you're on the go all day, especially Magic Kingdom because the queues are so long. So if you're doing a day at Magic Kingdom, I'd recommend getting up early. The 2 water parks, you can kind of do them in half days. They're never really that busy. We did a half day at Typhoon Lagoon, and then Blizzard Beach. My auntie and uncle didn't want to go shopping, so there was about 5 of us that went shopping in the morning, and then we just did a half day at Blizzard Beach. But we dropped my auntie and my uncle off there in the morning, so they kind of had a whole day there, and it was more about just chilling and relaxing. I would say Typhoon Lagoon's probably for the bigger kids, and Blizzard Beach is more sort of family friendly. They both have kids areas in them, and they're both very different. Blizzard Beach is all sort of about the snow and everything, and Typhoon Lagoon is very much about like shipwreck in the Hawaiian tropics, I guess, kind of thing. So they're both very different. I'd just kind of like look up their maps online and have a look at what rides they've got there and what you think is going to suit you best. They're sort of your Disney parks, and you just got to have a look at the maps and read the ride names and kind of where they sit in terms of thrill rides to see what days you want to do and whether you want to try and do all of them. When you're doing these Kombi tickets, they can split them down so you don't have all of those things included as well. You can kind of split them so that you just have all the Disney and Universal stuff. Sometimes you don't get all of the Disney stuff included though. You won't get like the miniature golf that we got included this time but weren't able to fit in. They don't always include Wet and Wild either. You can have that sort of taken out and just do the Disney parks and not the water parks, and obviously the Universal parks as a Kombi. The Universals, so you've got Universal Studios, Islands of Adventure, and then they've got sort of Wet and Wild on with them as well. The Islands of Adventure and Universal Studios are both together, and there's obviously a ride now that can take you between the 2 parks. You have to have a park ticket though to do both of those parks. So I would definitely recommend getting one of their unlimited passes. They're both quite big parks. If you're going at busy times of year, you might not get around everything in both parks in 2 days, so you might want an extra day. We actually did 3 days, and one of those days was quite a leisurely day and we kind of just strolled around slowly, so we got on everything we wanted to, I'd say. Busch Gardens is a theme park which has got animals there, and obviously they're like a sister company of SeaWorld, and SeaWorld is, they're getting bigger rides. They've got another one coming, they've got 2 at the moment, 2 big rides and a water ride, and then they're starting to build another one for next summer, so 2016. And they're very much kind of like theme parks with animals. SeaWorld always used to be just animals, and then they put sort of a water ride in and a big ride. Now it's very much, I think, trying to get people back in there, because I think their numbers were kind of dropping, so they seem to be putting a lot more rides in to encourage more people to come in and see them. I feel bad saying it, but they're kind of like, way they look after their animals now doesn't seem as good as it used to be. If you've watched my videos from when I was there, you'll notice that in the killer whale shows, like the Shamu show, there's about 6 orcas in one tiny little pool, and that pool that they're doing all their show in is a lot bigger than the pool that they're kept in behind, so I'm not really happy about that at the moment. But their Discovery Cove's really good. You can swim with dolphins there. That's an additional cost on top of whatever your cost is to get in, whether you get it in a Kombi ticket or whether you buy that entrance separately. They've also got a thing where you can go and stand in with the birds, and you can hold the food and they'll come and eat off your hands, and they'll like land on your head and your shoulders, which is really cool. If you're going to Florida and it's like a once in a lifetime holiday and you don't think you'll ever do it again, and you're happy to go and like blow out and pay loads of money for things and you've got the money to spend, I definitely recommend going and swim with the dolphins at Discovery Cove. It's a really good thing, and I was lucky enough to have it for Christmas, and it was the first time I'd ever done it, and it was amazing knowing that it was my Christmas present, so it's a good thing to go and do. There's a couple of things down on International Drive which look quite good. I've not done them because we've not had the time, and they're kind of things that we can do back here in England. So Wonderworks is one of them, and I believe it's kind of like Ripley's Believe It or Not. I've not been to Ripley's here or in America, so it would be something good to go and see. They've just opened a new thing down on International Drive, which is the Orlando Eye, a bit like the London Eye. They've also got a Madame Tussauds round there, a kind of sea life centre, and they have I think it's called Bones. The Orlando Eye is a lot cheaper than the London Eye at the moment. I don't know how long that will stay like that for. I guess it depends how quickly they cotton on to how busy it's going to become. I can imagine with people coming over from England, it'll be quite a popular thing to go and do, go around the Orlando Eye. I'm not sure whether it's as big as the London Eye. It didn't look like it when we drove past, but that might be because we were a little bit further away from it on the road that we were driving down. But it's worth a look into and going to do that. I know you can kind of get a bundle ticket where you can get the Orlando Eye, Madame Tussauds and the Sea Life thing all included into one, rather than just paying for separate bits. There's a couple of other things that you can go and do there that they sort of sell as separate tickets online, and you can also, I think you can also get them in packages. So there's Kennedy Space Centre. When you go on their website, they offer loads of little different packages with different things included, and I think the cheapest started at about $34. I don't really understand all the different things that they include, so I would say see if there's any sort of reviews here on YouTube, online, as to what's the best one to go and do. We've never gone and done that before. Somewhere where I would like to go though, when I go back next time, is go and do like Gatorland or something like an airboat ride where you can go and see like the gators out in the Everglades. They have packages like that on this website that I've been using. You can get loads of different Kombi packages where you can get absolutely everything included, not necessarily including Wonderworks, Ripley's Believe It or Not and things like that, but it includes all of the Disney, all of Universal, SeaWorld, Busch Gardens. I think some of them include Legoland as well and things like that. So it's worth just having a look around on their website to see what one's going to suit you best, or if you want to pick a few out. When you get your tickets from somewhere like American Attractions, they'll come through the post. I think they say a couple of weeks before you're due to go. So these are the tickets that you get from Disney. They're like the hard plastic cards, And when I talk about fast passes in a bit, this is the thing that you're going to need on the back with the number. And you have to scratch this bit off as well and put this number in. I think you might be able to scan this, but I'm not really sure how that bit works. And obviously you have to sign your name. These are pretty good. Obviously they'll last ages, and I can keep this forever and ever now because it's plastic and it won't get ruined or anything. Whereas the Universal tickets and the SeaWorld sort of tickets, they're all paper. These are great, these Disney ones. When you go in now, obviously if you have magic bands, you just sort of put your band up to the little Mickey circle if you've seen any videos of them, and they're really easy. These are exactly the same. You just put it up to the Mickey and it will go green, and these are exactly the same things you use when you're doing your fast pass booking as well. Obviously if you're going to Universal, you've got to pay extra for fast passes. You buy them when you get there and you pay like a set price, and you can do, as I think it says, one fast pass for every ride in one day. And then obviously if you're going to another park the next day, so say if you're doing Studios one day, you buy a, I think it's like $30 fast pass, and you can do all the rides in Studios with that one fast pass. Then you go back the next day to Islands of Adventure, you've got to buy another $30 fast pass for all of those rides for one day. I haven't spoke about a park, I don't know about it. Just go online and search things to do in Orlando and it will come up with a great long list, and I went through this list 2 or 3 times before we went. And if you're trying to do all the Disney stuff and the Universal stuff, I know I keep saying it, but if you're only going for 2 weeks, you won't fit everything else in. Obviously I'm saying that American attractions are the cheapest. Your best thing is to go online and search tickets, Orlando tickets or Disney tickets, and see what comes up. Then once you find somewhere that's cheap, if you think it looks too good to be true, I'd recommend sort of searching reviews on and then the website name on Google just to see what comes up. Some people will put on TripAdvisor reviews just for ticket websites. Maybe not, something about tickets.